Hey guys, welcome back to DAI. We cleared this out and we're heading over here. Alright. I'm gonna clear the rest of this area out here. And then we'll probably go see the wardens. Um, those decrying our ambition to reclaim our lands, decree history. What was not once under the watchful eye of the archons, the wisdom of the true divine, or justice of the magisterium. Idle Olay, graceless Ferelden, even vain Antiva were ours in ages past. De Winter's imprint is presented in every corner of their generic cultures, whether it be music, poetry, architecture, mathematics, or any art that stirs the human spirit. We are empire to stretch its arms again. The tides of the southern Dempsey would, at least, be stoppered and corrected by the superior minds of the Imperium. Now, speaking of that, let me see here. No, that's not what I wanted. Nope. Here we go. Characters. Says that we have, okay. Sir Stroud, born the younger son of a minor noble family in the fields of Gisling. Jean-Marie Straude had just finished training at the Académies des Chevaliers when he received word that his family had been killed, obviously by bandits. In reality, they were victims of religion's great game. Sir Stroud's plan to find his family's murderers was cut short when the Grey Wardens Corral recruited Stroud on the advice of the Academy trainers, who did not wish to see a promising young chevalier throw his life away in fruitless pursuit of vengeance. Unable to refuse such a request honorably, Sir Stroud joined the Wardens and left his old life behind. Warden Stroud has served the Grey Wardens with honor for decades. He is regarded as one of the finest swordsmen in the Order, combining his studies at the Academy with years of fighting Darkspawn alongside dwarves and deep rows. Warden Commander Corell has tasked him with recruiting and training new wardens. Most young warden warriors owe their skills to Shroud's mentorship. Shroud prefers to travel in the free marches rather than Olay, knowing his family history could cause him to become caught up in the game, leading to accusations of political interference among the wardens. He also has no strong opinion regarding mages or Templars, although he believes both groups wrong to turn their back on the Chantry, which Shroud holds in the same esteem. Warden Commander Corral. Grey Wardens, Ferelden would be a wasteland populated by darkspawn. Understand as well as your concern that I am a mage. Living outside the confines of the circle, I have been informed that you saw magic ill-used by apostates in Redcliffe. You have my sympathies in this, but not my apology. The Maker saw fit to give me the gift of magic along with a temperamental better suited to battle than quiet meditation. I left the circle legally, and the Grey Wardens gave me a chance to use my abilities to defend our land. I am no apostate. My first interest is Arl Tegan. Indeed, my only interest is to see this world protected from the blight. I may be Warden commander of Olay, but I am not Orlesian at heart. I am a Grey Warden and nothing more, and I will defend this land from horrors you cannot even imagine. My oath comes before political ambition, before concerns about the rights of mages. It will one day come before my own survival. I hope to hear from you soon. Yours, Warden Commander Corel de Cheney. Oh, I missed one. Professor Frederick of the Solot, Anton. If anyone alive can answer your questions about the social habits of the Greater Varmark Wyvern, it is Frederick of Solot, professor of dragonology at the University of Olay. I have met him a few times, and he is exceeding knowledgeable about his field of study, although less knowledgeable about the current state of dress, the days of the week, and the location of his quill and ink, but nonetheless quite brilliant. Quarterly, Magister Zeron Antonis. Okay. Rashvine. Be wary when harvesting rashvine because the plant comes by its name honestly. Indeed, calling it effects upon exposing skin a rash is an understatement. I've known apprentices who went throughout without treating the red sores, assuming the irritation but harmless, and eventually required either magical healing or amputation. Once the poison gets into the blood, it causes a painful clarification that turns surface skin stone gray, and that's only the first symptoms. In addition, it is primarily found in the marshes and remote areas of the deep vegetation, so there is often danger in finding rash patches, even aside from that in collecting it. Fortunately or unfortunately, it is one happens to be a witless apprentice. Rashvein has a number of useful applications. Stabs that harden the skin or otherwise provide protection, not to mention being the one in the primary inducted for any Antiva fire. My advice, use thick gloves and carry a sword. Okay. Ghoul's beard. Ghouls don't really have beards, do they? I imagine some do, if they had beards before becoming ghouls, that is. What, do you don't think they grow them after beguilement? Beguilement. Anyway, isn't it a cause by the blight? Nothing can grow on the blighted ground. I don't think that applies to hair, does it? Skin isn't really ground. Why are we discussing this? I'm bored. Can you believe she's forgotten she already talked about the ghouls build 2 weeks ago? Be nice. She's mature. It's hardly useful. Useless, you want to kill someone. Ruins their mind or some ghastly combination of the two. There was that one story about a cat that chewed on the ghoul's beard and ended up bursting into flames. You're just proving my point here. Ugh, I hope she doesn't make us touch it again. That thing is so repulsive. Plants really shouldn't be hairy. Like a ghoul's beard. Haha. Stop laughing, I think she heard you. Shit, she's coming. Notes passed between apprentice mages during a lesson. Okay. Arcane horror. Upon ascending the second floor of the tower, a gruesome sight greeted us. A ragged collection of bones wearing the robes of one of the senior enchanters. I had her for years, watched her raise countless apprentices, and now she was a mere puppet for some demon. Transcribed from a tale told by a Templar in Antiva City, 713 Storm. Corpse. In the most corner of Thetis, funeral rites include burning or dismemberment the dead to prevent them from becoming hosts to demons. But not everyone gets a proper burial. It is unheard of for the dead to be thrown in the massive graves in the aftermath of battle or executions. almost asking some demons to claim the corpses. From beyond the veil, spirit and demon, and by enchanter Madromiel. Research. Okay. There's update research. We don't need to read that. Dragon, a fairly matured adult female and a high dragon, the great monster of legend, the rarest of all dragonkind. These dragons hollow out massive lairs for themselves, for they need their space to house their harmland of the drakes, as well as their eggs and draglings. High dragons are seldomly seen. They spend most of their time sleeping and mating, living off prey their drakes bring back. But once every 100 years, no, I don't think so. Get out of that drawer. You don't need any candy. Go on. Living off their drakes bringing back. But once every 100 years or so, the high dragons prepare for clutching by emerging from her lair and taking wing. She will fly far and wide, eating hundreds of animals, most often livestock, over the course of a few weeks, leaving smothering devastation in her wake. She then returns to her lair to lay her eggs and will not again appear in the sky for another century. Draglings. Newly hatched dragons are roughly the size of a deer and voraciously hungry. They live for a short time in their mother's lair before venturing out on their own. The slender, wingless creatures are born in vast numbers, as only a few survive to adulthood. Druffalo. Excuse me. They say that mages are coming to Redcliffe. We had to leave or be caught in the middle of their war. Guy said that it would be a safe in general. We left as soon as we could, but the little ones could barely walk a mile. I was about to turn back when Guy saw a herd of wild buffalo passing through the hills. He said, "How different can they be from horses or brontos?" Oh, but those horns! I was afraid and told Guy not to go, but he said he had no choice. Guy said he would catch up to us, that he would continue on. We kissed goodbye and he left. The children and I kept walking. One day passed, 2 and then 3, and I knew in my heart he was dead. I almost gave up one morning. I was fetching water from the river when I thought, how easy would it be? They would just slip away and I would just follow them. No more pain, no more fear. As I searched for my courage, I heard a crushing through the undergrowth. Bandits, I thought, or bear, but instead it was a giant beast with pellet of blue, gray, and gleaming black horns, and riding it, muscled back, was my Guy. The Druffalo was enormous, but gentle as a doe. The children called her Bluebell. I never told him what I almost came to do that day. A diary found in a refugee tent in the hinterlands. Hyena. The common hyena is a remarkable predator, flourishing in the harshest of conditions. Pack working in concert have sometimes taken down prey as formal as great bear. It's an incredible sight, but you should keep your distance because one of these beauties took down my Bronto in under a minute. From the Vials of Thetis, Volume 2, by Severin Dion. Phoenix. Olesians believe that phoenix to be a herd of wool, perhaps because the creatures frequently inhabitable places where sane travels fear to tread. It's also because they belch a snort of sulfur gas that reeks of rotten eggs and ancient pellet bogs, and a flock of beasts have a pervasive odor of death about them. Or legions are not always so metaphor as they like us to believe. Poison spiders. The dawning of our understanding was violence and terrifying, made all the more so because of the mistaken awe and glory in replace. We had to walk into caverns on the word of the shaman, and we were not disappointed. Row upon row an army of dust figures, men and women, pack animals, and what appeared to be a stag tabulus of scavengers. As through the silent commentary, we imagine it the toy Balatin of Man King, funded by mountains of gold. I'll be making supper in a minute. Get going, baby. Or subjects of cruel empresses, sealed away with her upon her death. It was to all of us a wondrous sight, and yet another example of how we mortals are pretenders to creation and immortality. And then we ask ourselves, why are they all looking upward? And the answer was upon us. A sound from above, and then legs, fangs, and poison. I do not know the number. Less than my nightmares bear, but still too many. Only quick fires from our circle of apprentices allowed us to retreat, but not all. Several of our numbers were paralyzed in the instant, as must have been the case for so many before. When I close my eyes, I see them, new recruits to Silence Army, frozen in praise of moving ceilings, waiting to be hollowed. Quillback. Those men of learning who claim dominating over the cold, weirdly angled laws of this world would deny that untouchable savagery of nature, conjuring their knowledge as a man in reposing drawing a blanket over himself, some lent to distract from paralyzing the mind the allergic constancy of this world. Such men is manifest in a quillback. Its hooked beak describes a small smile that makes mock of the law of men and maker, and in the staggering folds of its rough and crumbless hide lies no elegant simplicity. But look upon its dorsal ridge for the proof its logic be your refuge. For in the ebon spines that just uncaringly from its back, no man of learning can fail to see that the cold and twisted spires of the black city itself. What maker would give mocking to our eminent transgression by making his domicile into the flesh of a repugnant eater of flesh, the scavenger of the waste and desert? What message can any man read in this carnage feeder's description spines than that the golden city of which we dream is black, always black, the swollen infection poisoned from time beyond the knowledge of our insufficient minds, awaiting only our unheeding touch to afflict us with understanding of our true place in this vast, uncaring world. From an Anatomy of Varietous Terrible Beasts by Baron Harvin de Monstre. Master means that is the pointing. Footnote in the margin of manuscript by Baron Scribe Dunwick. Okay. And we read the Rage Demon, but it upgraded because we did what we did here. Same with the Shadow, I think. Oh, we can read this. The specimen was fresh, killed only a few hours ago by troops of the Chevalier patrolling outside the city. Their captain told me in a strained and sicky voice that the group of Red Templars had descended on his men, and massacred them. I gave him my condolence, but he seemed not to hear me. The one on my slab was fast, the captain muttered, much nimbler than its bulk suggested. I imagined my nausea when I opened up the creature and saw that red lyrium had fused in the bones, overgrown its lungs, and spread like a fungus into the brain. As I watched, the red crystals pulsed and spread the smallest fracture of an inch deeper into the flesh of the corpse. Blood drained out of the surrounding tissue as if delirium itself were feeding on it. I have ordered my assistants to wear masks and gloves while burning the body. Possibly, forgive me, I want no truck with the forces in that thing. All right. This one. Vargas. Vargas is known to be a distant relative of the werewolves and dragons, but in ancient time it was believed to be a spirit manifested in this world. Korean legend says that the Vargas hunts those who have committed great wrongs against their own kin, and when the creature finds its quarry, it drags the guilty party to the gods for judgment. This is perhaps due to the beast's hunting habits. Vargas prefers to bringing prey still alive to their nests to feed their young. From a study of the southern Dracanis by Frederick Salden, published by the University of Lake. So that's the guy that we're working with for the dragon. The wyvern, like its relative the dragon, has nearly been hunted to extinction. Wealthy Elysians are particularly fond of the wyvern chase, although their servants and dogs take the risk while the noble merely accept the praise. It is a venom that makes the creature so valuable. It's used in potion making, alchemy, and the production of a rare and potent liquor called aqua lucas. The minuscule quality of the venom remaining in the aqua after distillation leads to a unique hallucinatory effect. Testimonies from a few of those fortunate enough to sample the costly concussions. I feel confused but happy. It was as though my soul took wing and floated above my head. I had visions of my great-grandma and found it oddly arousing. I can see through time. We read this one here in our last episode in DA2. Now, right now, you can get some when supper is done. Okay? Go on. Champion of the just. Blessed are those who stand before the corrupted and the wicked and do not falter. Blessed are the peacekeepers, the champions of just. Blessed there are the righteous, the light in the shadow, in their blood the Maker's will is written. Benedictions 4:10-11. When Andraste preached these verses, she offered her followers a path of future. In their blood, the Maker will is written, is usually interpreted to mean sacrificing one's life for a righteous cause, but like most of the chant, deeper meaning hides beneath the surface. In their blood can be understood as a reference to continuously an unbroken line of humble behavior requires to please the Maker. Rather than a physical fight against demons or apostate, Andraste meant that these verses as a warning that her faithful should judge their hearts' intentions, question those who would lead them astray. Champions of the just are those with the courage to admit their wrongdoings while letting none continue in their sight. Unsurprising, the fourth stanza is popular among the militant branches of the chantry, such as the Knight Enchanters and the Templar Order. We called it the Rite of Tranquility, a mind branded with lyrium brought to a state devoid of either emotions or sense of self. The rite was required to achieve the true peace that could draw spirits of the faith from the depths of the fade. Difficult task, considering tranquil mind is all but invisible to these beings. The candidate must be pure. If the candidate proves worthy, the spirit will touch his mind, and he will be freed from tranquility, as well as made into a seeker in truth. He provides unworldly tranquility was permanent. It was only later, when the first mage attempted to join our order and failed, that we learned that tranquility renders a mage unable to access his magic, as well as his immune to demonic possession. Thus, when the Circle of Magi was born, we gave them the most holy right we possessed. It was a sacrifice we made for the good of all. So dangerous mages could be to spare execution and yet live productive and harmless lives. What we did not give them was the secret of its reversal. That knowledge and our ancient bond with the spirits of the faith shall forever be solemn ours to keep. The tranquil are the least understood, most visible members of the circle. Every city of respectable size boasts a Circle of Magi shop, and every one of these shops is run by a tranquil proprietor. The name a misnomer, for they are not tranquil at all, rather they are like inanimate objects that speak. If a table wishes to sell an enchanted penknife, it could pass as one of these people. Their eyes are expressionless, their voice monotone, incomparable craftsmen they might be, but they are hardly the sort of mages to put ordinary folks at ease. Okay. Saran Oswin, a worthy about Lawrence Daly. Ever since the death of his wife and son in Highever at the onset of the blight, he retreated further and further into reclusion. Almost no one is permitted to come to Sarah Oswin. The last time I managed to see him, it was only because I bullied my way into the castle, and instead his strange new guards take me to him. And I say strange new guards for a reason. Almost all Oswin's retainers have been sent away. These men didn't wear Ban Lawrence colors, and they struck me more as prison wardens than as protectors. Lauren himself was pale and almost delirious. I begged him to see a physician or psych, and he promised he would, but I doubt he ever did. The guards ushered me out in a hurry, and the last time I returned, I was not even allowed past the gate. It's been months since anyone saw Lauren at all. I fear the worst has happened, yet I can prove nothing. All I can do is pray the rest of the Banor take notice and act before a good man is lost. Okay. Convenus. On the edge of the empire that erected prison, Convenus the dark pit. Far removed from the culture heart of the Imperium, Calvus held and met out punishment to local people who denied Tevinter's claim to the region, and to so-called loyal citizens who believed living on the fringe of civilization would grant them immunity from the Imperium's law. In a few cases, political prisoners who could not be sentenced with execution were sent to Cornus instead. It was widely known that the bribes brought nothing there, and having the right name would be rewarding with leniency. It is said that upon hearing their judgments, these individuals begged for death. All right. Crestwood is a small village of no real consequences to the lords and ladies who ride through on their way to Valverol or Denram. The people are glad for visitors. However, residents tend livestock and grow what crops they can, but their chief income comes from trade. I was dining alone at a local inn, which is quaintly perched on the top of the dam, when I overheard the barman mentioned the tunnels beneath the village, I was surprised to learn that a vast cave system riddles the land surrounding Crestwood. The locals told me tales of strange noises and eerie lights, of entire expeditions swallowed by underground fixtures, of screams in the darkness that come from nowhere and return just as swiftly to nothing. I scoffed and then went for a stroll around the area. The night was clear, and I was winding down a pleasant gate in the hills when I heard a rasping hiss. Dropping my walking staff, I spied an overgrown opening to a small cavern. Were those footsteps paddling away into the dark? I heard then, or startled our animal. That night I let the candle in my room burned longer than usual. From the diary of a traveler from Valchevane, dated 3 months before the start of the fifth blight. Three trout ponds hidden in the sinkhole hundreds of yards deep. Darkspawn emerged from this and the other caves that attacked Crestwood during the blight. The flood that destroyed old Crestwood drowned the blighted ones, and the excess water created the ponds we see today. Had the dam not been damaged, we would have never have survived the darkspawn. Was the Maker's hand in this? I could not believe he would be so purposefully cruel to his children, flawed though we are. From Memories of Sister Vaughn Crestwood. Okay. I believe this one's going to continuously update, so we're going to skip that one. Okay, so the western approach. Once these wastelands were a land of plenty, can you believe it? The rain came north over the Gormo peaks, turning the plains green and virulent for 3 months of the year. 800 years ago, that changed. During the second blade, darkspawn spilled out of the enormous cracks in the earth, corrupting it with their foul blood, and it never recovered, even after they were driven back underground. The Grey Wardens built adamant fortress to stand watch over the chasm, but eventually even they abandoned it to the winds and the biting sand. What few of us eke out a living in the Maker's forsaken place do so known that any number of deaths await us. Darkspawn raids, dragons, bandits, not to mention starvation from the lack of water and game. If we stay, it's because we know there are treasures buried in the bones of this place. Runes from the time when Tevinter ruled, and even earlier. We pass tales around our campfire of the things we have seen shrouded in the dust storms. My favorite are the ones about relics that could not restore the western approach once more, but I don't believe them. Truth be told, on the night when the wind is calm, I stand on a hilltop and see miles in the moonlight over a stark beauty of which no other Elysian can claim to know the equal. On those nights, I hope it will never change. From the Lands of the Abyss by Magistrate Gillis de Sandrit. Therenfall Redoubt. I have heard the compliments. Some of you don't understand why we train in the castle in the wilderness when you're to seek out corruption among the masses. You question the seeker's foresight. Doubt assails you. Why have you come to Therenfall? What can you learn here you could not on your own? Patience is what you will learn. With no city to distract or tempt you, you will practice. You will fail, you will suffer, and when we are done, you will be a rock upon which demons break. Now let us begin. This transcript of speech by Lord Sequel Alderin to a batch of students beginning advanced lessons is dated 770 Storm. The Seekers use Therenfall Redoubt as a training ground until around 899 Blessed, when their our finances were insufficient to keep the fortress in desirable conditions. Not reading these. I'm gonna. Oh, we're not reading these. How do I back? Is that all of them? Okay. Good. Right. Yes, please. I like that. I'll take that as well. Okay. Everybody gone? Perfect. Wow. Oh. Right where? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Going up here because there is a Fade Riff and not too far. Perfect. Okay, and then there was over here. Okay. Come on. He's not that far. You could have gotten him. Okay. Fantastic. Pretty good.
We have to stop this mage.
Oh yeah.
It's over. Thank you for bringing us here.
You're welcome. No. Inner circle. Unfinished business. So we still got... Okay. Very well. Places that we haven't unlocked yet for her. The Gate of Thoth. This gate is carved with symbols of Thoth, the old god of fire. Alright. Now back around.
One down!
Surviving the Western Approach, day 73. It's not for the record. I would have lost count of how long we've been lost in this maker-forsaken wilderness. Nothing but glowing yellow sand and rocky pillars. It's impossible to tell if we made any progress today or if we're walking in circles. The broken pilar with the teeth that look like a wolf's. Did we pass that earlier, or is there another just like it? Airly has succumbed to the sun. Her face is red and dry and swollen, and we have neither water nor shade to offer. If we do not find the path soon, I fear she will not make it. Day 81. Can it be less than 10 days ago that I was still hoping we would escape this wasteland with no deaths? Airly succumbed to that afternoon, and we lost 5 since then. They're getting more frequent. We caught a scorpion yesterday, but its meat provided no more than a mouthful for each of us. If we don't find water soon, none of us will return. Day 95. Relatel and Gorban have found a solution to their hunger and thirst. Mary died last night, and they butchered her like a calf and ate the meat raw, sucking her blood for its liquid. I shuddered even to write this, but my own stomach growled at the sight. I refused to partake. But I don't know how much longer I can go hungry. If I do not join their horrors, I will be the next to be eaten. Page from the Journals of Beryl Dorrell from the infamous Dorrell Party, 719 Storm. Oh, come on. Get out of the way. It's tricky enough to stay on this part. There we go. Now let's go take care of these guys. Alright. Now let's go up here. And that's an exit.
We should look around.
How about we fight first? Oh, where'd he go?
What will his masters do when they learn his efforts here failed, I wonder?
Alright. Eloquently written letter, Magistrate Novalis, a veteran officer of the Predator. Dear Madam, I have been informed that you are looking for an experienced administrator to organize your lead mining enterprise in the Four Kingdoms. I humbly present myself as a candidate for that vicinity. I have extensive experience as an overseer of multiple archaeological digs in the Western Approach and have successfully managed several mercenary armies ventures simultaneously. At the present, I am seeking new employment opportunities in less arid climes and as far as possible from the Inquisition. Please send my attached resume for further credentials. The last step. A fragment of inscription remains on one of their stones. It reads, "The last step of civilization before the abyss." Alright, let's continue here.
Still breathing. He's resilient, I'll give him that.
What are you thinking, Inquisitor?
Have some of the troops bring him in. I'll deal with him back at Skyhold.
Teaching her meters.
else runs on 10s, and then they had these fucking stupid put it feet in inches.
Excellent.
Alright, Solus, I need you. Over here.
Basement lights on.
Oh, well, it's probably been on since last night then when I went to go get more wrapping paper. Yeah. I forgot. Well, she used the other ones, so I wanted to make sure I had more.
I realize there's a hole in the floor where you can see stuff.
Alright, let me see if I can do this here. Did I screw this? There we go. Alright. Refer to either Astanta after the moon or Standalana after the holiday in common parlance. The constellation Sanus has always been depicted by the celebrant. A seated man playing a lyre. It should be noted that in ancient Adventure, the constellation was known as Mortalis and was represented by a warrior holding a lofted head, usually that of an elf. The movement to officially rename it took hold in the Divine Age, and after the 800 years, the original is all but forgotten. That's fantastic. Almost everything, usually a head. Oh, we got a shard yet to look for. I know where it is. I almost forgot. I'm glad I looked at the map. Come on. Alright, I think that's it. Good. Alright. Let's go back to the camp for a moment. Oh, don't crash on me now. Very good. Okay. First off, I want my people back. Nothing wrong with having Cassandra, but just not her people that I want.
I'm surprised you don't... wear heavier armor on your blind side.
If I did that, I'd just be telling people where to hit me. As it is, every half-decent fighter sees the eye and thinks he can feint, then come in with a low stab. Then I chop his head off. It's like a gimme.
That can't work every time.
It doesn't, but taking a blade to the ribs is a pretty good teacher.
I suppose. Okay. All right. Next.
I've news, sir.
Yes.
What is it?
See for yourself, sir.
Okay. So now we're going this way. We got this to take care of. Oh, just standing there, Iron Bull. Alright. Now we need our shard. Perfect. And there was a... Okay. I believe we gotta go outside.
By the time I'm done with you recruits, every one of you pathetic nut...
What a line.
Come take a look.
Alright.
Where's your others? The things you had
Ah. Okay. Now we're doing this. All the side stuff here we're finishing up. Let's get rid of that.
Shall we see what we found?
Solus, if you would be so kind. Thank you.
I believe I sense one of the artifacts of my people.
Thank you, Solus. I can see it.
Excellent. The wards are functioning again.
Over here, Solus. Thank you. Okay. Now let's go back out and see if I can figure out how to get up that thing. Where? Oh, for the love of God. It's not a good start. I can't get up that part. Alright. No. Haha. That'll say this. West Hills brandy, Noda blackcurrant with honeysuckle finish. Also tastes like brandy. Okay then. Oh, you're still holding that. You can get rid of it now. Thank you. Oh. We can't travel because we're... There we go.
Inquisitor.
Inquisitor.
This might interest you, sir. What is it? You may want to look into this.
It seems very unlikely that she could be nesting at this time of year. Ah, fellow researcher, how can I help you?
The raiders are no longer in the way.
I've made note of the appropriate spots in the wastes for you to place lures. I must locate my supplies to create the bait. Then we can proceed.
My people have translated that to Vinta manuscript.
Studies on dragon hunting patterns? Migrations? Ha! Durant's theory that dragons can't see the color blue is refuted. With those dreadful raiders out of the way, we can finally lure out the abyssal high dragon. You should have the honor, my friend. I've made note of the appropriate spots in the wastes for you to place lures. Place this bait, and then wait. It will be a momentous achievement in draconology.
I'm off to plant the bait for the high dragon.
I cannot wait to hear your observations. You must make note of how she circles the hunting area.
We'll have to speak some other time.
How happy are you, Ironbow? Alright, so we're going to pause right here. And then in the next episode, we'll take care of the wardens, the dragon, and then we'll probably return to Skyhole. Because there's a lot of stuff that we need to finish there. And then after that, it's wherever the story leads us next, the main story, and then after that, we'll probably open up like a different area. Alright guys, see you until the next time. Bye now.